continuing the notes for goal 1.4, working with variable expressions. We encounter now the distributive property. This is used a lot in math, the distributive property. So knowing when to use it is important, recognizing when to apply the distributive property. So what it looks like is a number or a letter in front of parentheses, and then in the parentheses you have two or more things being added and or subtracted. That number or that letter can be behind the parentheses, but typically it's in front. That's what you're going to encounter most of the time, that it's in front of the parentheses. Distributive property is multiplication. So in our order of operations, remember that the distributive property would be multiplication. So you're not going to have to draw all these little arcs and arrows that I'm doing unless you just want to. If you are unsure about signs, positives and negatives, please use the calculator to do that, okay? So first example, distribute that 5 to the entire parentheses. So 5, positive 5 times positive 7x is a positive 35x. And positive 5 times positive 2, positive 10. So when you do the multiplication, if it comes up positive, then you put a plus sign. If it comes up negative, then you put a minus sign. After you distribute, please make sure to look for like terms. There are no like terms there, so we're finished. Positive 2 times positive 8, x, is positive 16x. Positive 2 times positive 5 is positive 10. And again, we look for like terms, which there are none, which means we are finished. Watch your negative here. Negative 4 times understood 1, positive 1x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times positive 2y is negative or minus 8y. And negative 4 times negative understood 1z is positive 4z. So again, especially when you're distributing a negative, watch your signs. None of those terms are alike. One's an x, one's a y, one's a z. So there's nothing else I can do with that question. All right, my next one. Positive 5 times positive 6 is positive 30. Positive 5 times minus 7x is a minus or negative 35x. So again, watch your signs. Now, these do tend to be more missed because the number is coming behind the parentheses, but it's still the same thing. You really can do it in any order, but I always go to the first one first. Negative 2 times positive 3, negative 6x. Negative 2 times negative 8, positive 16. Neither of those terms are alike, so that's my final answer. And then my last example. Again, distributive property means multiplication. So that is right smack dab in the middle of the question. So you have to do that piece first. The other stuff's going to come down. So the 5x comes down. Positive 3 times positive 6, positive 18x. Positive 3 times positive 4y, positive 12y. And then my minus 7y comes down. Then I do what I did in my notes from last time. Collect your like terms. That term is like that term, and then this term is like this term. It's not necessary for you to identify them by underlining them or anything like that, but you can if you want. So for my x's, positive 5 and positive 18 is positive 23x. Positive 12 minus 7, positive 5y. So if you end up with like terms, collect, combine, add, subtract, whatever words you want to use, those terms. Okay, some questions.
So if it's like an equation outside the parentheses, you would do like the one closest to the first parenthesis and then add the other.
The other stuff just comes down, and then you collect the like terms.